heals some wounds. No, not this crowd though. No. We're 16 years into a grudge right here. So this is the right, I know my audience. I know. I can be as bitter for as long as I want. Try this one. I'm a leaf on the wind. All right, next question.
Hi. So I'm really glad you mentioned Ikora Ray. So my question is about her.
Yeah.
So in Destiny 2, we have this, this shocking, shattering scene where we as Guardians, lose our light. We lose our connection to our abilities to be able to come back to life if we're killed. And I feel like Ikora Ray of the 3 Vanguard was the most affected by that. And we had this really deep, dark scene where, she runs away from everybody to try to introspect on the things that had happened to her and losing the speaker. Their whole way of life being shattered. Was there anything that you as an actress needed to do to get into the mindset of Ikora Ray and being in that dark place?
It's all there. You just described it beautifully, didn't you? I know, I'll speak for myself. I can't imagine that there isn't anyone that hasn't felt like, is the sun ever going to shine on me again? When am I going to crawl up out of this hole? And the thing that keeps you going is the belief that you will. Because you can always lift yourself up out of it. And we all have the power to find our light again. And that the darkness is always just a moment. It's a moment in time. And so, just as a person, as a woman, as a human being, there was never any moment while I was voicing Ikora that I thought, yeah, no, come on, now, we're gonna get that light back. It's all gonna work. It's all gonna work out fine. Or why keep fighting, right? Just freaking get up in the morning and keep going. You never know. You never know what's around the corner. Yep. Woo. Thank you very much. Next question.
So on the TV show Hannibal, your character had a very dramatic story arc.
Yes.
What was the most intense scene for you to shoot?
I don't think there was a scene that wasn't intense. Now that I think about it, we just dived right into the deep end on that show. There were 2 that were emotionally and physically challenging. Was the my death not death scene. That was hard. But Mads was so great. He was just such a rock star and such a gentleman and so beautiful to work with. And he, it's just incredibly supportive. And then there's a scene that I have with Jack. And I think I'm smoking Kush and we sort of end up in bed together and talking about how he's going to remember me. And I just the 2 of us I just remember having such a lovely time shooting that, because it was just intimate and it was quiet and it wasn't melodramatic or any of that. It was just simple and real. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming so much. Please come back again and again and again.
Okay. Okay. Right to DragonCon, everyone. Right to DragonCon.
I have a question that's for you personally and for your character, Zoe. What is your favorite thing about working with Alan Tudyk behind the scenes? Mm-hmm. And then what do you think Zoe's favorite thing was about being married to Wash?
Alan is one of my favorite people on the planet. I just love him so much. I remember he made an appointment with me to ask me to do Con Man. Yeah. He said, I'm gonna I want to talk to you about something. I want to take you to lunch. I was like, okay. So we did. We went to lunch, and he asked me to do Con Man. I said, yeah, okay. And I said, no, that's fine. How are you? What's going on? What's happening? He's just completely himself, and lovely and funny, and just one of the biggest hearts I've encountered. So it is a blessing to have Alan Tudyk in my life. As far as Zoe, clearly he made her laugh, which is probably not an easy task. Zoe doesn't have time for that. But he did. He made her laugh, and I always say he's an excellent kisser. Goes a long way. Thank you. We got people over there. Oh, we have someone on this side. A new caller has emerged. Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
So glad that you're here, DragonCon. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
In the show Ron Glass, I remember watching him in Barney Miller and so many other shows. Really, really enjoyed him and his character. It was so sad, to hear his passing a couple years ago. What was your favorite memory with Ron on the show?
I didn't get to work with Ron enough. I'm so pissed about that. But when we did get to work together, when we did get to spend time together, he was so funny and so irreverent, and that's really what I remember. We shared hair secrets. I told him about my favorite conditioner. He liked the wide tooth comb. And we loved food. We talked about food a lot. And I took him to my favorite hole-in-the-wall Cuban restaurant in LA. And we just sat there for hours and talked about all kinds of things. Yeah, I loved that man. I loved him. I don't remember a time I didn't. Yeah. Thank you. All right. I know it's going to take a minute to move on back to past that one, but next question.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Actually, related to that as well, Ron kind of had there are some actors that kind of transcend their role, and him in Barney Miller and then him in Firefly was kind of like an ending to his arc. And in the same way, after the devastation of losing Firefly, and you, Serenity, seeing you, my wife and I watching Suits, kind of, Zoe was back. It was kind of an arc again of Zoe in charge, Zoe in power. And, even though it was Jessica.
Thank you.
But my question is, and I know that most actors have a vocation or calling to their art, but if you weren't doing acting, if you weren't doing producing, or weren't in film, what would Gina Torres be doing?
A couple of things. But I do want to talk about Ron and Barney Miller in particular, because you're absolutely right. He was the first time on television that I remember seeing a man of color be so pulled up, so beautifully together and well spoken, and And of course, there were a couple before then, and I really do mean a couple, that preceded my, I mean, I knew they were around, but I was too young. It's so nice to actually say that. To see them. So there was Morris on Mission Impossible, in the original Mission Impossible. Right, thank you. Greg Morris, thank you. And then before that, on Room 222, who he played on the teacher. God bless you, thank you. And so they were in my periphery as these beautiful black men who were intelligent and in charge of their corners of the world. But Ron did it with such, I mean, it was the first time, because up until then, you know, because of the time, and I'll get to your question in a minute. I'll get there in a minute. But this is just something that just happens to like be in my brain right now. Up until that time, and there's a glorious woman icon who is a dear friend of mine named Diane Carroll. And she is one of my goddesses, one of, you know, I pray at the altar of. Rita Moreno is another one. That back in the day, you had to be perfect. There was no room for imperfection because the world was watching. And so we didn't have the luxury of being flawed, because we had seen enough of that. And so it was time to portray something else. So you see all these amazing people who were just pristine and put together and perfect. And so there wasn't much humor allowed in those situations. And then you have the 70s. And the 70s ushered in a whole other way of seeing the world with all its imperfections and all of its atrocities. The Vietnam War, you know, was being televised, and so all of these things were happening. So we couldn't hide anymore. And there was Ron, perfect, still, and funny, and unapologetic, and imperfect in his own way. And that was a glorious thing to watch. Who would I be if I wasn't right here? A journalist, probably. Yeah, because, you know, still in keeping with storytelling. Yeah, get to the truth of it. Get to the truth and get it out there. Sorry about that. That was just I just had to get that out. Things need to be said.
I just want to let you know real quick, guys, we probably have time for about 2 more questions.
No way! That was fast.
Time is flying, so about 2 more questions.
Okay, thank you again for coming, and I have a question about future roles for you. Now that you're a creator, are there some roles you want to create for yourselves that you've never been offered that you've always wanted to play?
Wow. Well, you know, there are a lot of stories out there that need to be told. I plan to discover as many as I possibly can. But I do have, there's one thing on my wish list. And I would just love to play Mame on Broadway. Yeah. Go back to my musical theater roots and play Mame on Broadway. Yeah. That'd be fun.
I would pay to see that.
Would you?
Yeah.
Great. So hopefully time and the stars will align in such a way that could happen.
All right. I think we have one last question.
Hi.
Hi.
So my name's Alan, your favorite person in the world.
Hi, Alan.
I have 2 questions. A little bit of background. I didn't see Firefly. Well, let me take it back. I've seen both. I did not see Firefly. I saw Serenity first.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what got me going.
Mm-hmm.
Saw Serenity in 2005. I was like, great, they're going to make a sequel in 2 years because it's so awesome. boy, was I,
About that.
And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Like, about 10 years later, I found out that there was a series called Firefly.
No, really? 10 years?
10 years after I saw the movie. 10 years after I saw the movie.
Wow.
And I was like, this looks like the movie that I saw. So I watched the series.
Who are your friends?
That's a good question.
What are they watching?
That's a good question. That's a good
Okay.
question. So I saw the Firefly series on Netflix, and I'm like, great, where's season 2? And I'm like looking for season 2. And I'm like, where is it? Where's season 2?
I don't even know you, and I'm already responsible for 2 of the most disappointing. I'm so sorry.
I do not hold you responsible.
Thank you.
I hold Fox responsible.
Yes, and his friend.
Bad guys. Only the guys back then. So I started scouring the internet, and I'm like, no, this can't be true. This can't be true. And so I turned into a casual stalker of the entire Firefly. Casual stalker.
Very good. Okay.
I think that makes it better, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of us, so that's
Legally,
a lot of time. Yeah.
Casual. Okay. So in 2017, though, I read an article, and it was Fox went public with something saying they would be open to the idea.
I'm sorry, I forget my eyes are so big. Did you see that? You can see that eye roll in Detroit.
Well, in the article it said they'd be open to the idea, but only if Joss would come back and do it.
Right.
And then, so, of course, I got all giddy, and then, that was about a year ago.
Right.
So, I don't know, I'm just, at the risk of asking probably the most annoying question in the world, and having everybody hate me for it, what do you think about that? I don't know. What's your reaction to that?
And just for the record, we only have 2 minutes for this reaction.
Is that a hard question? I'm sorry.
You know what it is? I get here, and of course I get asked that question a lot. And it would be great to get the band back together again. But the band, such as it was, will never be together again.
Yeah.
And so I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. My next question is, my last question is, this is not a hard one. Has Nathan tried to prank call you yet?
I have all his numbers, he can't. And there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick note. If some of you are interested, we are doing a charity effort for military sci-fi media, the Don S. Davis Memorial Charity Auction. And that is going to be at 4 o'clock in the Hyatt in Regency 5 to raise money for the DragonCon Charity Literacy Action. But I just want to go ahead and, now that we have closed the final panel for Gina Torres here at DragonCon 2018, give her an amazing hand and welcome her back. Pursuits. Just let me know if you have any other ideas.